In this tutorial, we're going to cover Unit 3, Lesson 8 on Sprite properties. So here in Canvas to start, we're just going to go ahead and click on the Overview page, which is the beginning of Lesson 8. Once we choose that, we look over the Learning Goals, which says you're going to learn how to use dot notation to update a Sprite's property. Then your tasks are to read and complete all the content materials and activities, and then turn in your assignments. Go ahead and click Next. And on this page, this is part of the lesson where it shows you some of the code that you're going to learn, new code that you're going to learn this lesson with the Sprite.x, Sprite.y, Sprite.scale, Sprite.rotation, and there's a few other new Sprite properties that you're going to be introduced to in code.org during Lesson 8. So we're going to click Next. And again, we're going to go a little bit more in depth here. You're going to read through this lesson page, a little bit more about the .x, .y, .rotation, .scale, .visible. There's also .tint and .width and .height that you're also going to deal with in code.org. So read through this page to get used to how to use these different Sprite properties. Read through that and then click Next. And here you are on your assignment. Just like all the previous assignments, you're just going to click on that assignment and you're going to make a copy. And then if we look at this, this is the same format that we've been using for all the other lesson assignments. You are going to extend your understanding of sprites by interacting with sprite properties. So here you have the skill building. So there's 2 levels in skill building, level 2, level 3. Practice is level 4, your assessment is level 5, and your challenge is in level 6. It gives you the point values and a place where you can put your share link that you get from code.org to the right of this assignment page. And this is the page that you're going to be turning in. So here in code.org, we are on Lesson 8, Sprite Properties, and we are on level 2, because according to the assignment, we need to start on level 2. On this one, it talks about sprite properties. Keep track of all the information your program needs to know about a sprite, such as its size and location. You can change the values of these properties just like you do variables, and see the results when your sprite is drawn to the screen. So they want you on this level 2 to run the program to see where the sprite appears, and then it wants you to change the X and Y properties of the paintbrush sprite to move it to the palette. So when I click Run, I want to move my paintbrush down to be with this palette. So I actually want to show the grid so that I can see the location of the paintbrush. And that sprite, it's located by its center. So it's located somewhere around 300 and 100, which we can see here in the code. Brush.x, its x location is 300, and brush.y is its location is 100. So you need to change the information of where the brush is located on the X and the Y to move it down so it's on the palette. So you would use your mouse to figure out where you want to place this and move it down. So you're going to give you a hint, these 2 properties to move it down there. And every time you change those properties, like if I was to change it to 250 by 100, then you want to click Reset and Run. All right? And you want to figure out, where do I need to move this to? Okay, the easiest way, you can see it's moving in the wrong direction. It's moving up instead of down. So the easiest way to do this is just bring your mouse down to where you think you want to place it, look at below Show Grid, and you kind of get an idea and just round it up. It says X is 99, so do 100, Y is 250. So if I do 100 and 250, then that should start to move my paintbrush down. So that's just an example. Once you're done with that, again, you're going to do that activity, and then you're going to click Share and get that code, the copy link code, and then you're going to paste it over to your assignment just to refresh this and click Enter so it turns to a hyperlink. Then you're going to go to number 3. And on activity 3 here, they're going to show you a new property, and because sprites have lots of properties. So if we click on the sprites in the toolbox, you're going to see some new properties show. So you're going to run the program to see how rotation, you see there's two new properties here, rotation and scale, and how it makes the first two notes look different. Use the rotation and scale blocks on the last two notes to make them look different too. So when I run this, I see that note number 1 is kind of tilted, and I see note number 2 is tilted a different way, and the note number 1 is smaller on its scale. So scale means the size of that sprite, and rotation means how it's rotated to the right or to the left. And then you see the last two notes there are just there's nothing going on with those. So you want to edit and add a scale and a rotation, the sprite scale and sprite rotation, to note number 3 and to note number 4, and then change those properties to make them look different. So you can look at this code here and you can see what note number 2 when they do the scale and rotation and they put their numbers in, and note number 1, the scale and rotation. So read those, and then you're going to be adding scale and rotation underneath note 3, and then scale and rotation under note 4, and reset and run until you get those last two notes to look different. And then that's all you have to do with this level 3. Click the share button, copy the link, and then paste it into your assignment. Then you're going to go to number 4 here. And on number 4, you're going to choose one. If you look back here on the assignment, it says choose one for number 4. So you can do the scale property or you can do the rotation. Your choice. Choose one. This one's going to work more on that sprite.scale, and this one's going to be more on the sprite.rotation property. So choose one, work through it once you've got your answer set up, and they're going to give you something to start there, but they're going to tell you what you're going to do to add the rotation block, of code to make the cars look like they're traveling in the right direction on the road. So you can see the example up here to the right. Once you've got that figured out, you would click the share button, copy the link. The other option that you can choose is the scale property. And on this one, they also give you a choice. You're going to see what it should look like. So when you click run, it wants you to bring down the scale of the cow and the elephant so that you can see the fish behind it, and it wants you to scale down the fly also. Okay, so you're going to be using this sprite scale right here, and look at how they already have the scale in there, but just notice the numbers. You're going to do something with changing these scale numbers to negative numbers or positive numbers or 0.5, something like that. So just experiment with those numbers so that you can make your final image here on the left look like the final image up on the right. So once you're done, again, you'd click the share and get the correct link. So remember, on number 4, you get to choose whether you're going to do A or B. Then after you're done with that, you would go to number 5. And on this one, it's called Make It Fit, and it's an assessment, and it's 10 points. So this one here, again, you want to run, and it says the food is way too big on the plate. Use your knowledge of sprite properties to make it fit. So you want it to look more like this picture where the hamburger and the fries and the watermelon are all on the plate, because right now they're off the plate. So you're going to be using sprite scale to make it fit. And so you're going to be using sprite scale for each sprite, the fries, the burger, and the dessert. So I'll give you a hint. You're going to use sprite scale 3 times under each of those different sprites names. Once you've got that figured out, you want to just try to figure out, so I can resize those to get it onto the plate. And then when you're finished, again, share and get the link and then paste it on your assignment. And then go to number 6. Number 6 challenge, you get to choose, let me see. Yep, choose one. All right, and that's 10 points. So you can either do the new block where they go over the tint, sprite.tint, and this one goes over sprite.height and width. In A, you're going to learn how you can change the color by putting a tint color on top of a sprite's color to make it look different. And on this one, with the giraffe, you're going to learn how you can make that sprite width be bigger or smaller, or its height be taller or shorter. So like, for example, if I look at the tint one here, how that one works is you will go to Sprite, and you see this new block right here. So if I run it, there's my Sprite, this creature. But I want to put a tint there. So I'll give you a little hint right here. You're going to drag and drop that tint right to there, and you're going to have to name it with the right Sprite name, okay? Because you got to refer to the creature. And then within there where it says equals, and you're going like, well, do I put a number or what am I putting there? Because it's a tint, it is a color. So you need to put the quotation, the quotation mark, and then your color. So you would put whatever color you want in there. If I put yellow quotation, then watch what happens there. And then reset and run that. And you should see that it makes it yellow. Okay, so you need to put with tint, you need to put a color to it, or an RGB even to it. With the other one, the width and height, you're going to use numbers for the width and height. All right, so here we got the Sprite, and you see now we have the height and we have width. So what you're going to add in here is actually numbers. Now think, I'm just going to give you a hint here. You got to use numbers that go with the grid numbering. So you've got up to 400. And right now my Sprite is, let me take these off so you can see what happens before those come on there, just to kind of give you a hint. This Sprite is way tall. By every one of these is 50, so 50, 100, 150, 250. So this Sprite's 300 pixels high and about 100, maybe less than 200 pixels wide. So I'm kind of giving you a hint that you need to, when you do the height and width, you need to think in pixels numbers. You need to think in 50s, 100, 150. Okay, because if you put the number 1, you're not going to be able to see it. In other words, the number 1 is just a tiny little pixel. Okay, so think in the terms of pixels when you drop over the width here and the height, the number you're going to put in the terms of pixels. All right, so once you have one of those done, whether it's the giraffe or if it's the creature, then you're going to get that code and the link, and then you're going to paste it here. Then you will go back to Canvas to that assignment, click Start Assignment, and then you're going to submit it. And we've gone over how to submit that, so you should already know how to submit assignments. And that's it for Lesson 8.